wrote in your most recent report, quote, most of the world's billionaires would rather not discuss their wealth, not Bankman-Fried. Why is he less tight-lipped than other billionaires you've worked with?
It's a $1 billion question. He, I think that a big contributor to his rise, in the public sphere, is that he was always available. It wasn't just Forbes. I mean, he would pick up the phone and talk to all sorts of people. And he definitely gave the impression that you could ask him anything and that he would answer truthfully. And if he didn't really know something, he would sort of tell you. And so, I don't know. I mean, why would he talk about it? Is it because he was proud of the net worth that he had amassed? Maybe. Is it because he thought that it was good for his personal, like, public profile, and that was good for business? Maybe. I think it's really hard to say, but it is definitely true that he created a Google sheet for us and updated it, at least 5 times over since the beginning of 2021. There aren't a lot of billionaires on the list that are taking time out of their day to add new tabs to a Google sheet to show Forbes, how their net worth is changing and how much richer they're getting.
Right. So why are other billionaires more tight-lipped about their wealth, do you think?
I think that there are some who, even if they think it would be good for business, it's uncomfortable, or it's just not something that you want to talk about or, flout. There are billionaires that are legitimately humble. Some who are just, not inclined to talk about this, just in general. And I think that there are also a lot of billionaires who are very careful about paying attention to what their lawyers are telling them, or their tax attorneys, or something like that. And so most people wouldn't be talking in this moment like Sam Bankman-Fried is talking, and maybe in a similar fashion most people wouldn't be creating Google sheets of their net worth and sending them to the media in the way that Sam Bankman-Fried has. I think it's just I don't think we can get inside his head too much. It's hard to know why, but it is a notable difference, that's for sure.
Forbes has been tracking his net worth for a while. How has it changed from when Forbes started tracking it to now?
Yeah, so when we first came across Sam Bankman-Fried, he was still raising some of his early funds, he was raising some of his early funding rounds for FTX, and at the time was very quickly up and coming. And so we put him on the billionaires list. I believe we had a net worth of about 8 billion maybe for him at the beginning there. And very quickly it rose. I helped write a cover story on Sam Bankman-Fried just over a year ago now. And at the time he was the fastest person to get as rich as he did, with the exception of Mark Zuckerberg. And so he was worth 22.5 billion at the time. And then shortly after we came out with that story, he raised another round of funding at an even higher valuation. And then at the beginning of 2022, FTX raised money at a $32 billion valuation, and his US operation raised at an $8 billion valuation. So a combined valuation of $40 billion for his businesses. And so, we had his net worth in the 20 billion plus range. And it was about there. It had dropped a little bit over the course of 2022 because crypto markets were down. But he was certainly worth 15 billion plus until all of this stuff came out. And now he says that he has about $100,000 in his bank account, and you have to think, with the legal bills incoming and the upkeep on the penthouse that he's living in right now, and whatever other expenses he has, you'd have to think that $100,000 is not going to last too much longer.
Is this fast rise and even harder and seemingly faster fall completely unprecedented?
Yeah, I mean, there aren't too many other examples of billionaires crashing so fast. There are some. But the speed at which he got up to maybe a quarter of $100 billion and went so quickly to zero overnight is pretty unprecedented. I mean, you're talking about some of the biggest billionaire scandals out there are the only, really comparables. And I don't think any of them were worth what Sam Bankman-Fried was worth just before everything came tumbling down.
And you mentioned that he made his own Google tab. He was updating the Google Doc for you. What was your last correspondence with him? Or if not you, what was his last correspondence with Forbes?
Yeah, well, he's talking to a lot of people right now, so I don't know which of my colleagues are in contact with him at any given moment. But I've spoken to him since this happened. In fact, the day that everything was starting to go down, and things were really crashing in the middle of the storm before they had filed for bankruptcy, he was still searching for emergency funding. They had been going through that Binance potential buyout. So this is the worst of the worst, and the point in time at which he was still in charge and could have, presumably was looking for things to do to turn things around. So in the middle of all of that, I sent him an email, a request for comment, saying that we were going to take him off the billionaires list, and we thought that it was unlikely that his assets were worth $1 billion or more. And he actually wrote back to me, and he said, I can't confidently dispute that my net worth is less than $1 billion right now. And so, and I think it was maybe the first public on the record comment that he had given, and he had gone dark for maybe 24 crucial hours, and had even recently had said to his investors in a letter that you might not be able to get a hold of me because I'm busy. And so around that time, there he was emailing me back to say, yeah, I'm probably not a billionaire right now, but I'm not sure. It just seemed like it was one of the least important things to to be dealing with that day, but he did get back to us on that. So, and you can see he's talking to all these people right now. So he certainly is not going dark.
Wow, a fascinating comment. Chase, thank you so much for your reporting, and I hope you come back soon. I'm sure there will be an update soon enough.
Yeah, it's a never-ending story, and there is a ton more to still come out. So yeah, thanks for having me on. Until next time.